today, I'm going to put in some stairs. We're going to put in the back corner over there. And so what I'm hoping to do is, or what we've ordered is a steel stringer, which is this one here. So five steps and 5 nice bits of hardwood sleepers, treads, I guess. We've also got over here the tread steps, which we're going to put into the wall on the other side, and then because we're going to have to put in the leg of the stairs into concrete, we've got this L bracket which is going to hold which is going to pin the stairs to the ground. So we've got five tread holders and the L bracket. We're also going to bind. We're thinking originally that we're going to use these cup head bolts to screw the treads to the tread brackets, but we're thinking because the line of these heads is going to be along one edge, and then where the string is going to be inset, that maybe these aren't going to be the ones, but we'll see how we go, and hopefully Okay, first things first, we've got to take out the paver. I'd taken this out the day before with a couple of big screwdrivers and taken out some of the sand, so getting this one out right now is fairly straightforward. Put that to one side for later. So you can see I've taken out a bit of the sand there and already, and just position the stringer in the place where it's going to go. I've already got a couple of marks on the wall there to check it against. Now the height of this top tread is supposed to be 175 plus the tread width from the top, so 230. So I've got a mark down at the bottom of at the correct point for 230 on the wall, so that's where that first tread's going to be. So if we do the calculations and work out what the displacement is, we can mark out on the bottom of the stringer there how much we've got to cut off, and that's what I'm about to do now. Mark the lines on the bottom of the stringer foot, and we're going to cut along those lines. So just using an angle grinder to cut through this. I should have clamped this down, but here we are. Safety earplugs on, safety goggles on, cutting away from me. Probably should have put the other handle on, but it wasn't too bad. Just about cut all the way through this side. And there we go. Clean up a couple of little ragged edges on the inside and so on. Okay, so now we're just going to check our
tread's
measurements.
pretty
it's
well on
sitting
230, which is
exactly where we want it. So 230 from the top. Put our tread on. Check the measurements.
a little high.
You've got to trust me, that was 175. And just to be sure, I'm going to clamp that top tread on onto that bracket, top bracket.
Step one off. And this one.
And there you go. And that's all you need to do. That's the stairs installed. Just leave it at that.
So
the difference at the bottom is that the bottom tread is just slightly high. It's not a huge problem. Just a little bit more different distance from the top of the bottom tread to the ground. And in the end, that's fine. It's you don't notice it. So just going to having marked out the holes for the bracket or the stringer. Having marked out the holes for the stringer and adjusting my earplugs, just going to drill the holes to mount the stringer onto the wall. I've got this little syringe, oversized syringe for adding the right amount of oil to make two-stroke, and but it's great for pumping out the residue and the concrete in the holes of drill. So makes for a nice clean fit. Tighten the bolts up into the wall. Just going to I've marked out roughly and drill the holes for the bottom bracket. It's basically, there you go, you can see the dust pouring out there. It's basically just an elbow bracket that then gets tech screwed onto the side of the stringer. Stops it moving around. So we'll put these in just like that, and then I showed you earlier that we were going to put these cup heads through, but we've decided, seeing as the line of the heads is going to be different on the stairs, it's not going to be equidistant or anything, we decided against the cup heads, and so I went down to the shops and got some galvanized coach screws. So they're just going to come through on the back, on the underside of each of the sleepers. So I've got to mark out the point on the tread where they're going to appear, or where they're going to drill in. To paint the treads, or paint the brackets, I got this metal primer paint. So I'm going to clean these down with some terps. I got some fine grit sandpaper, wet dry paper, to take off a little bit of the surface rust and start painting these up. And then we'll get into, if the weather finds up, we'll get into marking these out and putting them. Okay, so cleaning the brackets, just had some little bit of terps on a rag, or a lot of terps on a rag to clean the oil off, and then just wipe all that off with a lot of rag. Now I've only got one glove, which was kind of annoying, but so I didn't want to put my oily fingerprints on the brackets before I got them painted again, because then they'd continue to rust underneath. So I was doing all the sanding and everything, all the touching of the bracket with just one glove, and seemed to work okay. Got all the rust off, gave them a final wipe down, and they look pretty neat. Put the brackets out on a piece of board. They magically appeared, and then first coat of paint on one side. While they're drying, I'm just going to mark out the positions of where the brackets are going to go. So I've got a level on a piece of plyboard, which I know is flat, and I've marked out the height of them. And here I'm marking out from the end wall the depth. From the distance from the wall that each bracket is going to be positioned, And then once I've got all those, I'm going to position the brackets and mark out the holes of where I've got to drill the holes. That's the bottom one going in there. Come back to the brackets and I've dried them, and they've dried or dried enough. Put them on little chocks so they stand on their corner. They don't have the face down. And dab some paint in there. Very delicate operation. Okay. Now once the string is in place, just going to put the undercoat paint on that, the primer paint. Some on the footing as well. Make sure it's all in the little corners and stuff. Okay, so here we're marking out the where the brackets are going. So I've got the front and back edge, front and leading edge of the brackets. Now this one, I should have taken a little bit more care of the positioning of it. So now that I've got the holes marked out, I can jump in there and drill out where we've got it. Now, of course, this second bracket is right on the edge of or right on the bottom of the blocks. So I decided to leave that because I'll come back and put just use the bottom hole of the bracket. But I'll do that when I've got it in place. Okay, putting the brackets in, they're dry enough. It was a pretty darn hot day, I can tell you. So I'm working out what I've got to do here. So hammer the screws home and then tighten them up with a drill, and then by hand check the level, and it was nigh on perfect, I can tell you. Clean the holes out, tap the screws in, and you're going to do that one on that one. Clean the holes out, put the screws in, tighten them up. Okay, just going to drill that last hole. It's on the bottom of that bracket, on the third hole. And position the treads. And this is where I find out that I put that tread in incorrectly. Yep, I've mismeasured by about 50 mil. So I went through and installed the treads, making sure that they're lined up correctly. Drill the holes. I drilled the pilot hole, and then drilled the hole proper, and then put a little bit of countersinking for the shank of the coach bolt to come in. So by this stage, I've fixed up that bracket and moved it into the correct location. Okay, so cutting the paver. I realised that before I get too far down, put all the put all the treads in, I need room to be able to get the paver in. So I've marked out the paver where it was going to sit, and so I'm just using an angle grinder with a cutting disc, a large cutting disc to knock it out. I didn't quite get any good footage of me knocking out that end bit, but basically made sure it had three. I then used a hammer drill bit to put the three holes in the end of the paver, the cutout section at the bottom, holes for the so that the Tek screws would go through. Now I'm using some stainless steel cable here to drop it into place. Just made levering it into place so much easier. And it's got to make a final adjustment, get a little bit more sand in there, and level it. And drop it in, bit of stomping, and then pull the cables out. Dust the sand in. I went around with the proper fine sand and dusted that in. You can see the sand there. So line up these front treads, these last couple of treads. Make sure that it's all sitting flush. Mark out with a pencil underneath where the holes are going to go. And take that tread, flip it over, drill the holes. I didn't bother with the pilot hole because it was the drill bit was sharp enough. This is the final tread. And doing the countersinking. Only needs a little bit. Clean all that off. Put it in place, and this is how we attach have to line it up, try and feel the tread hole in the bracket hole. Put the coach screw in, do it up by hand as much as I can, and then tighten them up just so they're not quite grabbing yet. And then I'll go through with the angle, with the set square, and make sure that they're all in line, in position, and then do that final tighten up.